Welcome everyone to Grand Tour Wrestling Dystopia. I'm your host, Infinite Fantasy, and we're live here at Paris, France. And looks like we're going to be starting off the show as the Grand Tour champion, Dio Sebation, makes his way to the ring. Here to address the fans, here in Paris. We're here on our third night of our European tour. Last night, we had Friday Night All-Star back at Glasgow, Scotland, where Dio Sebation had attacked Stephen Dynamite on his way to the ring to address the crowd after trying to discuss about the events that transpired on Brawl on Wednesday. Dio Sebation going to a rage fit after his girlfriend Amanda Price had just broken up with him, claiming that Dio is too controlling. And we're about to hear what Dio has to say to the crowd coming up next. Dynamite, at one point I thought you were my friend. I honestly looked at you as a brother. I always had your back. And the one time I do something for myself, you turn on me. I get it, you have feelings for Amanda, but that is not my fault that you waited so goddamn long to make a move. So you twist the witch's mind, you turn my own sister against me to get revenge. Then you take things a step further and you do the same with Amanda Price. You manipulated the situation, warped her mind, and now I have nothing. Me beating your ass on Brawl, me beating your ass on All-Star, that is just the beginning. I will hunt you every single night and make you pay. There is no amount of security that can separate me and you. And here comes Stephen Dynamite here to respond. Paris, France. Your chosen one is here. Well, look at that. You just saved me the trouble of hunting you down. You ready to fight me like a man? Hold on there, Dio. I'm out here to set the record straight. You understand everyone is against you because of how you've been acting, right? You do get that you've been doing this all to yourself, right? Let me remind the court that everything between me and the witch was strictly platonic, strictly professional. It's real simple, Dio. I wanted the intergender tag team titles, and so did she. End of story. You need to make up this scenario in your head to justify how stupid your feelings are that your little sister does not always need you. I know, it's a hard pill to swallow. And as far as Amanda goes, I offered her a ride to Glasgow because she needed help, and that's what you do when a friend needs help. She brought it up to me. I did not bring up what was going on. And when she did, hell, I even apologized to her because I recognized that our little fight put her in a very awkward position. Why? Because that's what friends do. I told her what I told her because for some reason she kept justifying your actions. I have no idea why, but she was. I guess that's just what girlfriends do. It is not my fault. You literally went ahead and proved me right. That is why she broke up with you, Dio. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. You and your controlling personality. You, because you can't let things go. Because you can't accept that maybe, just maybe, you're not the locker room leader. Maybe you just can't stand that maybe I am. Oh, is that right? You're the locker room leader now. Hold on, Dio. I'm not done yet. Oh, no, we're unbagging everything. You see, you just, right here in front of everyone, in Paris, France, claim that you have nothing left to lose. I'm sorry, my friend, but you do. Oh, that's right, you do. You see, I just talked to Charles Elliott, you know, the director of GTW, and he had a great idea. Instead of us beating the hell out of each other every night, we should settle in the ring. That is why, at Grand Rumble, live in Greece, me and you are going to fight for the one thing you, Dio, have left. Your Grand Tour Championship. I hope you're ready, Dio, because come next Sunday, live on pay-per-view, you have been chosen. Oh, and before I go, one last thing. It's gonna be an ambulance match. What? Did I just hear that correctly? Did I just hear that correctly? Did we just get our main event for the Grand Rumble? Steven Dynamite versus Dio Sebation, one-on-one in an ambulance match for the Grand Tour Championship. This is huge, folks. We have not seen an ambulance match in so long. For anyone who doesn't know, the objective to an ambulance match is to incapacitate your opponent to the point where they physically cannot get out of an ambulance truck. Someone is not walking out of this match okay. The winner will be the Grand Tour champion, and the other one will be spending the next few weeks in a hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dystopia. I'm your host, Infinite Fantasy, and boy do we have a show tonight. Coming up, we have a qualifying match for the Fatal 4-Way coming at the end of the European Tour to determine our very first GTW Women's European Champion. And the qualifying match tonight will be between the Russian assassin, Brenda Bison, and Jennifer Love. Also tonight, we'll be getting singles action between Asuka and the timeless Toni Storm. And we have an amazing main event for you. Last night, at Friday Night All-Star, the Wolfpack, Castor Black, and Amy Zero had successfully defeated Damian Maximus and Rebecca Troy of the Olympians of their intergender tag team titles. Tonight, Damian Maximus will have a chance to get even with Castor Black as the two go head-to-head, one-on-one for tonight's main event for Dystopia. That's all to come, so don't go anywhere. We got more high-flying, high-action wrestling coming up right after this quick break. Well, I'll be damned. What the hell happened to your fancy suit? Strap yourself in, Farouk, cause I got us another tag team match tonight against Gallus. Another match? The Outlaws just kicked our asses. Twice. Look, if we want to get clients, we need to show everyone how dangerous we are. Are you in? Yeah, Bradshaw. Alright. Let's go do it. Let's go kick some ass. That's the spirit. Hey, Bradshaw. You got that new ring gear, right? Everyone, and it's time for Dystopia's opening match. We have a one-on-one qualifying match. The winner will be the third participant in a Fatal 4-Way on next week's Dystopia. The Fatal 4-Way will determine the very first Grand Tour Wrestling Women's European Champion, and what a way to end the European Tour. But first, we're gonna see who's gonna be our third participant in tonight's qualifying match. Right here at Paris, France, we got Brenda Bison versus Jennifer Love, right here on Dystopia.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, representing the Red Faction from St. Petersburg, Russia, the Assassin, Brenda Bison! Assassin!
And here she is, the Russian Assassin, former intergender tag team champion, former women's world champion. Brenda Bison is a very dangerous woman and a very competitive athlete. From Moscow, Russia, she has been trained in the old ways of the Soviet, combining her technical prowess with her nimble and agile-like abilities. Brenda Bison, known as the Russian Assassin, is a force to be reckoned with. When she was injured by Hercules, she had lost everything. She had lost the 2 titles that she carried with her. She nearly lost her own tag team partner, Andre Armstrong. But now, she's looking to gain something so much more. Something to her maybe even more valuable than regaining the Women's World Championship, and as being the first woman ever in GTW to call herself European Champion. Will she make it to the Fatal 4-Way to determine our first European Champion? We'll find out in tonight's qualifying match.
And her opponent from Cleveland, Ohio, Jennifer Love.
And here comes Jennifer Love, making her way to the ring. We have not seen her in a couple of months, ever since her confrontation with Damage Control. But now she's looking to step into the ring tonight against one of the most dangerous women alive. I'm going to see that Jennifer Love is coming very fashionable here tonight. I'm wondering if she's going to be taking tonight's match seriously with that ring gear. We got the Russian Assassin versus the Slipper Assassin, Jennifer Love, right here. And here comes the sleeper hold by Jennifer Love, putting Brenda Bison into a crossface. Jennifer Love now sizing her up. Coming off the top rope, taking down the Russian Assassin. And look at her just stomping on the back of Brenda Bison. She comes off the ropes. Double exhale, but nobody home as Brenda Bison rolls out of the way. An amazing reversal, she goes for the pin. 1, a kick out. Jennifer Love still in this match. Brenda Bison coming off the ropes. And a huge knee, followed by a kick by Jennifer Love. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Brenda Bison. Jennifer Love going for those huge right hands onto the former women's champion. Remember, the winner of tonight's match will be going to DYSTOPIA next week at the end of our European tour, live in Italy. And they will be competing in a Fatal 4-Way match. A Fatal 4-Way to determine our first Women's European Champion. Another kick out by Brenda Bison. Jennifer Love rolling senton, and it looks like she might have just damaged herself on that move. Jennifer Love still not laying up the pressure, going for those huge right hands, staying in complete control of this match. And there's a shoulder buster by Miss Love. Comes going for that super kick. Brenda Bison pulling the top rope down, and Jennifer Love goes flying outside the ring. And Brenda Bison now fired up. Here comes a huge right hand. Brenda Bison goes for a belly-to-belly suplex. 2-1. Now fighting outside the ring. Just the Irish whip. Bring the Bison to the reversal. Throwing Jennifer Love into the barricade. They grapple up. Here comes Brenda Bison. Once again, backbreaker. Oh my gosh, you can hear her spine break in half with that maneuver. And once again, grapple up. Bison throwing Jennifer Love into the barricade, full force. And here she is, working on the leg. If you can win by countout, as long as it's not a double countout, that still counts as a win. That still will get you qualified for the Fatal 4-Way European title match, and Brenda Bison knows it. Looks like Brenda Bison preferring to win this the old-fashioned way. The ever so honorable warrior, the Russian assassin Brenda Bison. She would not be satisfied with the count-out victory. And here she goes, going for her submission hold. Jennifer Love fighting her way out of it. Going to the clothesline by Jennifer Love. 2 clotheslines. Brenda Bison attempting a kick and a sweep by Jennifer Love. Here she comes, going for the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Brenda Bison. And here she goes, that Irish whip. A Superman punch by Jennifer Love. She goes for the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Brenda Bison. And there's Jennifer Love out of nowhere with a lion salt. Oh, what's this? What's Asuka doing here? Asuka has been interfering in a lot of matches. Asuka is supposed to have a match later tonight against Toni Storm. And I know it's been a while since we've seen Jennifer Love. I guess Asuka still hasn't let go of that grudge that they had a while back since Jennifer Love has disappeared. But still, I'm surprised she's out here distracting Jennifer Love, helping Brenda Bison of all people. There's Brenda Bison going against the ropes. A knee to the sternum. This might be Brenda Bison's chance to take the match. And there's a fisherman suplex by Brenda Bison. And Brenda Bison with the crossface. She has Jennifer Love in the middle of the ring. There's nowhere for her to go. Jennifer Love manages to slip her arm out. Bison not letting up though. She makes her way to the second turnbuckle. Double axe handle. Love sees it coming though. She maneuvers her way out of the way. Super kick on the Brenda Bison. Here's the pin. 1, 2. A kick out by Brenda Bison. Brenda Love right across the ring. Both knees into the spine of Brenda Bison here. Jennifer Love now on the top turnbuckle. And a double stomp on to the Russian assassin. She's going for a third high-risk move. This could be what wins the match. And it looks like Jennifer Love took a little damage on that one. But it's not stopping her as she's sizing Brenda Bison up. She's going for the finisher move. This could be it. Jennifer Love with the GTS. And here comes the pin. 1, 2. A kick out by Bison. She's still in this. She's still got fuel in the tank. And a jawbreaker by Brenda Bison. And she's locking in An armbar, another submission hold, using that technical wrestling knowledge that she's been trained in. Amazing display of athleticism by Brenda Bison. Now bringing Jennifer Love with a fisherman suplex, hooking in the leg for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Brenda Bison advances to the fatal four-way.
Here is your winner, the Assassin, Brenda Bison.
Amazing win by Brenda Bison. She'll now be the third participant in the Fatal 4-Way next week on Dystopia. She is one step closer to making history as GTW's very first Women's European Champion. And we got a fight breaking out backstage. The Old Gods seem to be going after Jamie Hayter in the backstage area, up on the upper levels. What are these two doing? Hercules in his ring gear along with Amber Charlotte. It's like they were preparing for this fight. And what Hercules doing here? Jamie Hayter attempting to fight back. Here comes Hercules, slamming her right onto that steel floor. And here comes Amber Charlotte, trying to carry her, and Hercules not letting her go. Jamie Hayter doing everything she can to fight back. Hercules just completely manhandling her. And there's Hercules slamming her full force onto that steel floor once again. And there he is, just throwing her right into that concrete wall. And this is just so much disrespect right here, how the Old Gods jumping Jamie Hayter like this. Hercules, what are you doing here? I can only see these two have bad intentions in mind here. And there he is, just bashing Jamie Hayter's head into the guardrail. And look at Jamie Hayter trapped in that tarantula in the hands of Amber Charlotte. Again, we're seeing them all in their ring gear. It's almost like Hercules planned for this fight. He planned for this ambush. He was planning to have combat in the backstage area. This was no random confrontation. and a huge clothesline by Jamie Hayter, narrowly escaping Hercules. And finally, it seems these three have finally made it to the ground level, where it's probably safest. Who am I kidding? Jamie Hayter's alone against Amber Shaw and Hercules. There is no safe release for her. See, Jamie Hayter is doing everything she can to try and fight back here. Uh-oh, now they have her on top of the cargo. What's Hercules doing? He's picking up a baseball bat. And there's Amber Shaw just hitting Jamie Hayter over the head with a shovel. And Hercules with that baseball bat hand, work just smashing the knee of Jamie Hayter there. Over and over, he's just smashing that knee. And the Old Gods completely destroy Jamie Hayter in the backstage area. We have EMTs running in right now. Things just don't look good at this moment. The Old Gods fleeing the scene as the EMTs come by to check on her. This is just disgusting, folks. This is absolutely 100% just... I have no words. Is there no lengths Hercules and the Old Gods will not go. Coming up next, we have tag team action. The APA about to go 2-2 against Gallus. Coming up next on Dystopia.
The following is a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, at a combined weight of 565 pounds, Farouk and JBL, the Acolytes.
And look at Bradshaw back in his old Acolytes ring gear. It's great to see these two back in full force as the APA. They have had some bad luck against the Outlaws as of the last week. However, let's see how they fare against Gallus here tonight in this tag team match.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 486 pounds, Joe Coffey and Mark Coffey Gallus.
And here comes the team of Joe and Mark Coffey, otherwise known as Gallus. It'll be Farouk and Bradshaw's opponents here tonight in Dystopia's tag team match. I believe this will also be the first time we ever see Farouk and Bradshaw as a team wrestle together here in Paris. As I said, the as of the last week, the APA attempting to get back together has had very minimal luck against the Outlaws. Let's see how they do against Gallus here tonight. We're starting off with Farouk and Mark Coffey here in tonight's tag team match. And boy, does it feel good to see these two back together in their old tag team ring gear. Mark Coffey gaining the advantage on Farouk. Farouk with an elbow to the ribs of Mark Coffey. And here comes a fireman's carry by Farouk. Snake eyes into the top turnbuckle. And what a drop. That power by Farouk. One, an immediate kick out by Mark Coffey. Another grapple. Farouk going for the Irish whip. Mark Coffey in the turnbuckle, and Farouk makes the tag to Bradshaw. And there's Bradshaw coming off the top rope, shoulder tackle onto Mark Coffey. And a huge right hand by JBL. And here he is with those massive elbow strikes onto Mark Coffey there. And once again, grappling up. Bradshaw throwing him to the steel stairs. Mark Coffey with the reversal. And there's Bradshaw being thrown into the barricade. And here comes a bear hug by Mark Coffey. Clothesline from hell by Bradshaw as he goes for the pin. One. An immediate kick out by Mark Coffey. Still very early in this tag team match. JBL is a very powerful man, both in stature, physically, and in terms of his financial stability. However, when it comes to pure brute strength, there is none like him. A drop like that is... Hold on, what's Gallus doing? Double shoulder tackle. Here I am complimenting Bradshaw's strength, and now it seems Gallus has gotten the better of him. Joe Coffey taking control in this match. And now, here comes Joe Coffey sizing up JBL as he waits on the ring apron. He comes over the top rope with another torpedo tackle onto Bradshaw. He now makes the tag to Mark Coffey. Bradshaw makes a desperate tag to Farouk. Farouk immediately being clotheslined by Mark Coffey. Here comes Farouk, going for a scoop body slam. Now going for the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Mark Coffey. And there's Mark going for the sweep, taking Bradshaw off his feet there. He goes for the Irish whip. Farouk now in the corner. Mark tagging in Joe Coffey. Gallus going for the double Irish whip and a double arm drag followed by a double elbow drop. These two completely synchronized. Amazing teamwork by Gallus. And the APA looking to be in a lot of trouble. Farouk withering in pain. This is looking like them versus the Outlaws all over again. Bradshaw looking for that tag. And here he comes. He goes for a big boot. Joe Coffey sees it coming. And Bradshaw with a huge clap. They grapple up. And a spine buster by Bradshaw. And look at that pure strength by Bradshaw that I was complimenting earlier, putting Joe Coffey in a fireman's carry, followed by a power bomb. And I kind of feel like Bradshaw is just showing off at this moment, and a clothesline from hell by Bradshaw as he goes for a pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Joe Coffey, and look at the look on Bradshaw's face. He could have sworn he nearly had it there. He's going for a second pin, this time using the ropes as leverage, and Joe Coffey still able to kick out. And Bradshaw making the tag to Farouk. The Acolytes with a double T move. And here goes Farouk with a big power slam onto Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey making a tag to Mark. And there's Mark rolling Farouk up into a pin. 1, and a kick out by Farouk. And a spine buster by Farouk. Now going for the pin. Joe Coffey immediately breaking up the count. And there's Mark Coffey out of nowhere with a flying kick on the Farouk. Now sizing up his opponent. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, and a kick out by Farouk. Huge spine buster by Mark Coffey. Tagging in Joe. Here comes brother Joe, now in the ring. Huge left to right hand. A reversal by Farouk as he goes for an arm drag. Farouk gets the tag in, and here comes Bradshaw. Joe Coffey trying to gain his bearings outside the ring. Bradshaw waiting patiently. And a clothesline from hell, another clothesline from hell. I don't know how many more of those Joe Coffey can take in the hands of Bradshaw. And look at those right hands by Bradshaw. And not 1, not 2, but 3 elbow drops right into the heart of his opponent. There you go, the grapple up. Bradshaw going for that Irish whip. He makes the tag to Farouk. The Acolytes are in business, and here comes the APA. Double hip toss. A huge right hand by Farouk. Now going for the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Joe Coffey. The Acolytes nearly had it there. That's Farouk throwing him into the corner. He tags in Bradshaw. And a huge right hand by Bradshaw. A reversal by Joe Coffey going for the back of the knee. And you can see Bradshaw having a little trouble standing here. Joe Coffey taking advantage, capitalizing, going for the pin. And here comes Farouk with the save. Joe Coffey now throwing Bradshaw into the corner. Joe Coffey making a tag to Mark. And here comes Gallus with a double team move. Throwing Bradshaw against the ropes and delivering a double hip toss. And now Gallus once again taking control in this tag team match as Mark Coffey on the second rope. Atomic elbow drop onto Bradshaw. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, a kick out once again by JBL. And locked up. Mark Coffey throwing him into the corner. Another tag to Joe Coffey. And what's Gallus got planned for him this time? They're charging up. Double shoulder tackle by Gallus. And now Joe Coffey patiently waiting for Bradshaw to get to his feet because of a little lariat clothesline. And here comes the pin. 1, 2. Another kick out by Bradshaw. Joe Coffey throwing Bradshaw over the top rope. Here comes the Irish whip. Bradshaw off the ropes. And he just projected Bradshaw right in the air, followed by an uppercut, catching him in midair with that. And I don't know how much Bradshaw can take here. He needs to get that tag. He needs to bring Farouk in. I don't know if he'll be able to kick out a third time the way Gallus is taking in and out, dealing that double damage onto him. And here comes Joe Coffey on that second rope. Atomic elbow drop across the throat of Bradshaw. And now he's sizing him up. Joe Coffey looking to put this away. He springs off the top rope. Bradshaw shoulder checks him out, followed by a headbutt. And Bradshaw makes the tag to Farouk. Farouk, now the legal man in the ring. This could be the opportunity the Acolytes need against Gallus. He goes for the Irish whip. He goes under. He goes over. And a reversal by Joe Coffey. Lariat clothesline. Nearly had it there. 1, 2, and there's Bradshaw breaking up the count. Irish whip. Farouk in a lot of trouble. Joe Coffey about to make the tag. Farouk with the elbow. Thinking quick on his feet. Snap suplex. And there's Farouk. There he is. Those huge right hands. Those devastating hits. That's what the AP is about. He makes a tag to Bradshaw. He's telling him finish him off. And there's Joe Coffey playing possum on the kick. Bradshaw with the receipt. A receipt by Joe Coffey as well. And look at that, full force. Face right into the ring canvas. Joe Coffey making a tag to Mark Coffey. And you can see the fatigue behind Bradshaw and Farouk. You can see the APA is becoming very tired, very worn out as Gallus continues to take in and out. Bradshaw trying to come back with everything he can, and he clotheslines Bradshaw outside the ring. And there's Mark Coffey going to Farouk. Farouk saying no way. And there's Mark Coffey going towards Farouk. He slips to the ring apron. Bradshaw trying to come to his aid. And Mark Coffey intercepts. And here comes Bradshaw with a powerbomb. Mark Coffey's head bouncing right off the steel stairs. We're now halfway through the countout. Bradshaw getting a little rough outside the ring here. We saw what he did with that powerbomb as Mark Coffey's head ended up just slamming, bouncing right off those steel stairs before. We're at 7 now. Bradshaw's got to bring this back in the ring. And it's a double countout. It's a draw between Gallus and the APA. And it seemed that Gallus controlled the match. Bradshaw, though, getting aggressive outside the ring and may have lost himself, causing a double countout between the APA and Gallus. Coming up next, we still have Asuka versus Toni Storm. And don't forget, our main event tonight as Damian Maximus goes one-on-one with Castor Black. All to come next on Dystopia. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The man that defined the Attitude Era. I'll give you your dues. In your day, you were the deadliest man to step foot in the ring. You were the man that erased the weakness in this sport. But those days are long gone. I am not the World Heavyweight Champion to be the best. I don't need a title to prove it. I already am. My goal is to weed out the weak, to destroy the sickness that plagues this great sport for years now. I understand you're back because you want to fight the best. You want to relive the glory days. You want to leave this industry better than how you found it, and I respect you for that. But do not worry, because come Grand Rumble, you will fully understand that GTW is in great hands. Pro wrestling will thrive, and you will leave your place in the Holy Bible of the Ring, Austin 3:16. When a great man dies on the cross, only then you will see I am the future of everything. And when you give what is left of you to the ring, you will know that it is me, that it is John Moxley, that will lead GTW to a future where the weak perish, and only those who are worthy shall ever wear a gold belt. You see, it will not just be any title match. Oh no, we are old spirits bound for a bloody battle. And much like the Greek gladiators, it will be a fight to the death. I will see you at the Grand Rumble Austin in a death match. Come back, everyone, and it's time for our one-on-one match as we have Asuka going one-on-one with the timeless Toni Storm right here on Grand Tour Wrestling Dystopia.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, accompanied by Kairi Sane, representing Damage Control from Osaka, Japan,
Asuka,
Asuka!
as of late, has been a real nuisance here in Grand Tour Wrestling. You can see a bit of her jealousy and vein has been coming out, constantly interfering in the anyone in the World Women's Championship picture, constantly interfering in the matches of Rachel Rodriguez as she defends her title, as she's been going after individuals like Toni Storm, and earlier tonight has targeted Jennifer Love. Toni Storm looking to put Asuka in her place right here tonight, but with Kairi Sane in her corner, this may not look good for our former Grand Tour champion, the timeless Toni Storm.
And her opponent, from Gold Coast, Australia, Toni Storm!
Toni Storm last week picking up an impressive victory to become one of the 4 women to compete for the European Championship at the Fatal 4-Way next week on Dystopia, despite the outside interference of Asuka, something Asuka has been doing a lot lately. Toni Storm had teamed up with Rachel Rodriguez a week prior to try and take on the Kabuki Warriors, and they did have an impressive victory. But tonight, it's all about one-on-one Toni Storm ready to send a message to Asuka, ready to put her in her place. However, she's got to have two sets of eyes with Kairi Sane in her corner. Will Toni Storm be up to the challenge here tonight? And here comes the bell as we start things off. Asuka going for those strikes against Toni Storm, and they grapple up in the middle of the ring. And here comes Asuka with an armbar onto Toni Storm. You can see she's applying it tightly. You can see Kairi Sane in the background applauding her senpai. Toni Storm struggling in the hold. And there's Asuka tightening it, throwing her into an arm drag. Asuka walking the ropes with a drop kick onto Toni Storm. A huge right cross by Toni Storm. And there she goes, dropping backwards, driving her knees into the spine of Asuka. She throws Asuka into the corner. And you can see Toni Storm's in rare form here tonight. She's been wanting to get her hands on her for a long time, and I don't mean in her usual way. Toni Storm following a get roll with a crossface on the Asuka, pulling that neck back, doing everything she can to cause that damage. And still to come later on tonight after this match, we have our main event as Damian Maximus is set to go one-on-one with Castor Black. Castor Black, who along with Amy Zero, have officially won the intergender tag team titles last night at Friday Night All-Star. And here comes Toni Storm going for the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Asuka. Those overhand chops. She goes for a kick. A reversal by Asuka. And Toni Storm again with the counter, staying on top of this match. She goes for the Irish whip, going under. She goes over. She goes for that big boot. Asuka using the ropes to stop the momentum. And there's Toni Storm with a DDT. Amazing joint manipulation by the timeless Toni Storm. Asuka seemingly in a lot of trouble now. And there's Asuka once again going old school, walking the ropes, getting that drop kick. That amazing nimbleness, that ninja-like agility from Asuka. And here she comes, the leader of Damage Control, with that huge takedown onto the timeless Toni Storm. And now Asuka sizing her up. Toni Storm could be in trouble if Asuka hits this. And there she is, the restrictor. Asuka's got the restrictor on the Toni Storm. The sleeper hold is locked in, and Toni pulling her apart. Amazing counter, amazing strength by Toni Storm. It was only about a little over a month ago, Toni Storm made history as being the first one. Hold on, here comes a pin. 1, 2, kick out. As I was just saying, Toni Storm made history a little over a month ago, like 2 months ago, as she became the first woman to win the Grand Tour Championship. And next week she's looking to make history once again. Another kick out by Toni Storm, looking to make history once again by becoming the first woman to become European champion, as she'll be competing against 3 other women in a fatal 4-way match. We'll be finding out who the 4th and final competitor will be this Wednesday night on Brawl when we have our final qualifying match. And there's Asuka challenging Toni Storm to a game of fisticuffs. These two going at it with all their might here. Toni Storm with that open hand chop onto Asuka. She blocks the attack and keeps going. And Asuka trying her best to fight back. But in terms of strength, Toni Storm might have Asuka completely outmatched here. Here she comes. And the two now just beating the heck out of each other, throwing right hands into each other. Both of them are dizzy, and Asuka capitalizing as she goes for the submission hold onto Toni Storm. Toni Storm slipping her arm out of the maneuver. But that's not stopping Asuka. She knows the damage is done to Toni Storm's arm, and she's continuing to put the pressure on there. Toni Storm kicks out, and it seems Asuka still has her work cut out for her. And there's a kick to the leg by Toni Storm. And here she comes with a fisherman suplex. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Asuka. And there's Kairi Sane causing a distraction, giving Asuka the opportunity she needs to attack Toni Storm from behind. And just look at Asuka go, choking Toni Storm with the heel of her boot. And a counter by Toni Storm, going for the legs, going for that shoot. Asuka not staying out for long. She comes up the ropes, double axe handle onto the nose of Toni Storm. And I see we got J Props in the chat right here, showing all the love right here on the Infinite Fantasy If channel. Love to see it. Love to have you here, J Props. And here comes Toni Storm. Kairi Sane had exposed the turnbuckle, trying to give Asuka the advantage. It seemed that might have backfired as Toni Storm threw into it, but the advantage did not last long as Asuka able to wiggle her way into a submission hold. Toni Storm barely fighting back here, just coming out of nowhere with those open hand chops. The referee, thank goodness though, noticing the exposed turnbuckle, getting the padding back on. There's nothing more satisfying than when you see someone trying to give another wrestler an advantage, using those dirty tactics and just seeing it completely backfire in their face. And Toni Storm now applying the sharpshooter on the Asuka. She has Asuka in the middle of the ring. Asuka with an incredible reversal, amazing agility, amazing athleticism by Asuka there. And there she is, driving the elbow across the face of the timeless Toni Storm. Toni Storm barely able to get to her feet as Asuka stays in pursuit, using the ropes to wrench the arm, that already damaged arm of Toni Storm. And Asuka knows it. She smells blood in the water. Here comes Asuka, making her way to the top rope. Frog splash. Toni Storm rolls out of the way just in the nick of time. He goes for the Irish whip. Big boot. Toni Storm now gaining the advantage in this match. She's going for that joint manipulation, twisting the arm of Asuka, nearly ripping it out of the shoulder. The crowd here at Paris, France, going absolutely crazy in this European tour. Toni Storm may be able to win this match yet. She sends Asuka into the top turnbuckle. And look at those kicks by Asuka. That martial arts training coming into play here. She's got Toni Storm in the middle of the ring. You can see she's bruised and battered here. Asuka has been focusing on torturing her this entire match, and she once again has the submission on the Toni Storm, and Toni Storm taps out. And watch this. Asuka with a steel chair in hand. The Kabuki Warriors about to double team, and here comes Rachel Rodriguez, the women's champion, coming to the aid of Toni Storm. A submission was not enough for Asuka. The Kabuki Warriors were about to do some serious damage, but the women's champion, Rachel Rodriguez, comes to Toni Storm's aid. And here he is, still in that ring gear. And that's what really like threw us all off when he made that attack on the Jamie Hayter along with Amber Charlotte. Is they were not in their regular clothes. Neither one of them were scheduled for a match tonight. And they decided to attack Jamie Hayter in their ring gear. That attack was deliberate, I am telling you. That was just no random meetup, and that was no random fight. Hercules never does anything by accident. That was planned. He was dressed for a fight, and he still is. And here he is coming out to the crowd here in Paris, France. And I can only assume to explain his actions here tonight. You can hear the boos throughout the arena. We're, from what I understand, Jamie Hayter's condition is critical right now. Her knee is completely blown out after that assault where Hercules just kept smashing the metal bat into the knee over and over. And don't forget, Hercules is 345 pounds of pure muscle. That's 345 pounds of pure muscle with a metal baseball bat being smashed into the knee of Jamie Hayter over and over and over again. Jamie Hayter last night had a chance at the U.S. Women's Championship against Amber Charlotte and had lost the match, but I think that was not enough. I think the Old Gods view her as a threat, and Hercules deemed that she needed to be taken out. Paris, France, bow before your God. Now I'm sure you all have a lot of questions, and I have many answers for you. Oh, and here comes directors Charles Elliott. Look like he's here to finally put an end to this madness. Hercules, what the hell was that? Why? Why on God's green earth would you attack Jamie Hayter like that? You were in your ring gear, you still are. That attack was not random. Charles, I'm sure you are fully aware that Jamie Hayter is now in the emergency room. And you're right, that was not a random attack. That was planned. She was paid in full for her defiance against the Old Gods. She is only the first of many. From this point forward, every night you refuse to give me what is mine. Refuse to give me my title match. Refuse to let me face Jon Moxley. I will send another to the hospital again and again until there is no one left. You think you can hold GTW hostage? What can you do, Charles? Remember, it was you who put the no accountability clause in my contract to save your son. Your son who now works for me. If, by brawl, the first thing you do is not give me my title match, another poor helpless victim in your staff will suffer the same fate. Tick-tock, Charles. Tick-tock. Gotta be wondering what's going to the mind of Charles Elliott. Hercules is absolutely correct. He cannot be held accountable. He cannot be fired for anything. And this is Charles Elliott's own doing. Hercules has said that he will every night pick a new victim and send them to the emergency room, just as he has to Jamie Hayter here tonight, until Charles Elliott finally gives him his title match. And we gotta be wondering, what is the director of GTW gonna do? Is another fine plot by the old gods to take over our great promotion. And speaking of the old gods, last night was a great victory by the Wolfpack, as Castor Black and Amy Zero were able to defeat Damian Maximus and Rebecca Troy last night at Friday Night All-Star for the intergender tag team titles. Damian Maximus, though, looking to get some payback after losing the belt, as he has a 1-on-1 match against Castor Black. Next, on our main event for Dystopia, we got Damian Maximus, Castor Black, right here, right now, here, live in Paris, France.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, representing the Olympians from New York. Weighing in at 163 pounds, Damian Maximus!
And here comes Damian Maximus, the apprentice, the protege of the mighty Hercules. One half of the Olympians formed by him and Rebecca Troy, member of the Old Gods, formerly known as Damian Elliott, the son of our great director, Charles Elliott. And last night, he suffered a major defeat in the hands of Castor Black and Amy Zero, as they were able to take away the intergender tag team titles away from him and Rebecca Troy at Friday Night All-Star. It was a dark day in Glasgow, Scotland for Damian Maximus, and he's not taking it lightly. He's looking to get that receipt here tonight. He's looking to make King Castor Black pay for defying the old gods, for defying the Olympians. A victory tonight would ensure that Damian Maximus may be able to challenge the Wolfpack again for the tag team titles along with Rebecca Troy. However, if Castor Black is able to defeat Damian Maximus in his one-on-one match, he will be solidified, and any chance of a rematch may go out the window for Damian Maximus.
And his opponent, representing the Wolfpack from Charleston, South Carolina, weighing in at 276 pounds, one half of the Mixed Tag Team Champions, the King Castor Black.
And here's one half of the Intergender Tag Team Champions, the King Castor Black, strutting his way to the ring, wearing that brand new golden belt around his waist. And he's looking ever confident. He's defeated Damian Maximus once. He can do it again. The first time the Wolfpack has taken on the Olympians in the ring, the Olympians became victorious, allowing them to become #1 contenders for the tag team titles. But the second time around, last night at All-Star, it was King Castor Black that put away the Olympians once and for all, winning the title gold. Here comes the bell. Damian Maximus getting rather aggressive on the Castor Black here in tonight's dystopian main event. He goes for the grapple. And here comes the Irish whip. Castor Black thrown into the corner. And look at Damian Maximus wrenching the arm of his opponent. And a kick to the midsection. And look at Damian Maximus scraping King Castor Black's face across the top rope there, and now putting him inside a reverse Boston Crab. Castor Black with a reversal and a lariat shoulder check, taking down Maximus. And now grappling up. And look at Castor Black with that size and power, using that to his advantage. Maximus using his speed and agility to his. There's Castor Black with a kick to midsection. And an uppercut right into the throat of Damian Maximus. There's Castor Black going with the ropes, flying clothesline. The flying werewolf taking down one half of the Olympians. And go grappling up once more. On social media this morning, Damian Maximus said that if it was just me in Castor Black one-on-one, the result would be very different. And now he's getting his wish as he's getting that one-on-one here tonight. And look at him, using that size and power, just toss him over the top rope, and a spear right through the ropes. Amazing! Is there no boundaries to King Castor Black, King of the Werewolves, as he just speared Damian Maximus right through the ropes. And there he is, throwing Damian Maximus into the steel stairs. The front row crowd here in Paris getting their money's worth as Castor Black goes to tag on Damian Maximus as it comes off the top rope with a frog splash outside the ring. Castor Black certainly putting on a show for his subjects here tonight. Here comes Damian Maximus throwing Castor Black right into the barricade. And Castor Black just getting warmed up now, getting fired up as he makes his way back into the ring. And you see Maximus throwing everything he has at Castor Black right now. And look at him, just tearing that knee, twisting the ankle. I have to give Damian Maximus some credit though, from where he started off, wrestling under the name of Damian Elliott. He certainly has come a very long way. He's become much more ruthless, much more aggressive, but you can also see that he's able to strategize better in the ring. He's more focused than he's ever been before. I don't know whether to attest that to the training that's been given to him by Steven Dynamite, or if this has been the influence of Hercules. I can see a little bit influence from his old mentor, but I'm also seeing a lot of aggressive styles in the that you would see from Hercules. And here goes Damian Maximus setting up Castor Black for a massive DDT. I can see the look on Damian Maximus' face as he goes for the divine judgment. This could be it. 1, 2, 3, and a quick victory by Damian Maximus as he hits the divine judgment. And what's this? It seems it's not over. Castor Black trying to fight back against Damian Maximus. And here comes Rebecca Troy and Archangel, the old gods, now attacking Castor Black. 3-on-1, a 3-on-1 beatdowns. The old gods decimate Castor Black. And I think Damian Maximus has clearly sent a message to Castor Black here tonight. You take my gold, I'm going to take your career. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is the end of our dystopian broadcast. Don't forget to tune in this Wednesday for a GTW Brawl, as we'll be live in Berlin, Germany. And then we are going to be coming to Rome, Italy next Saturday for next week's Dystopia to end our European tour, followed by our pay-per-view event coming next Sunday, live in Greece, the Grand Rumble. This is your host, Infinite Fantasy, signing out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Infinite Fantasy if/youtube.com. And as always, may your fantasies be infinite.